Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. That is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. Also, check out battleviewer.com. If you're watching this anywhere and you're liking it, I promise you're going to love it on battleviewer.com. And also follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, where you can stay up to date on everything that's happening in the league and check out the question of the day.
Chiz, who is your pick, or who's your choice, for league MVP so far?
Mine has been Ox Mathis.
I'm still sticking with Ox Mathis, too.
Yeah.
We're about to see him play, so we'll see if he can live up to the Ox Mathis
That's
hype.
true.
Ox Mathis, boys.
That's true. High Woltage, ladies and gentlemen, coming up High Woltage is coming up as well as Team Rival. Now, we have right up off the bat, DeKillzor from High Voltage. DeKillzor, welcome to the show.
Hello, guys.
Oh, that's not DeKillzor at all.
No, it's DeKillzor.
Oh, hi, DeKillzor. I like your hat.
Thank you. I picked it specially for tonight.
We saw him yesterday without the hat, and the hat threw me off. I thought it was a completely different person. Anyway, DeKillzor, David has a question for you.
It's a fabulous hat, that's for sure. All right, DeKillzor, let's go with you faced a tough loss to Team Refuse recently. Do you think that was a good thing for you to face that challenge early in the season?
I think it was a good thing to lose early because it brought some people down because we were pretty hyped and stuff. So it brought some people down to earth, and we took it back in the next week. So yeah, I think every team is going to have a match where they might lose or about to lose, and it's a good thing because it focuses you back to your goal that you had in the beginning of the season.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now a lot of you guys left Simp to form High Voltage. Can you explain to me maybe why you guys did that, or is that kind of on the hush-hush?
It's not really a hush-hush. I think it was one of those things where over a longer period of time, people in team chemistry just didn't work out anymore, and they decided they wanted to play with other people, and that's how this team came to be.
All right.
That happens to a lot of teams. Thank you so much for your answers, and good luck tonight. Again, love the hat.
Yeah.
No worries, especially for you.
I know.
See, man, that's so nice to have a bond like that between two tankers. I wish we could wear hats like that, but I'm pretty sure production would get extremely mad at us. Now, David, one thing I want to kind of piggyback on what he said, when people just kind of lose that chemistry, they kind of fall apart. Do you see that happen more often than not, or do you usually see the longer teams go, the better they play together?
I'd say there's kind of a diminishing return. People generally get along better and better for a while, and then it starts to fall off. Especially as some people just burn out, and then that leads to other people maybe being upset with them or not wanting to play with them as much because nobody can keep their skills up forever, and nobody can just keep doing the level of work these guys do for as long as they do.
All right. Well, up next we have Spanish from Rival on our Skype interview. Spanish, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thank you. Wow.
Oh, no, it's cool. You can welcome us.
Yeah,
too.
no, thank you. We're in your house.
Thank
This
you.
is great. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a great place you got.
You are in my house, yeah.
All right. So you just lost Swipple to Elevate. Was that planned on your end, or was it a surprise?
It was absolutely a surprise.
Well, there you have it.
That was a surprise.
That's a simple answer. All right, and another question for you guys. Now, many of you have played in the Gold League in the past. Do you feel like this is your strongest team to date?
Personally, I feel it's my strongest team. However, I can't answer for the rest of the players on my roster. I can certainly say that this team has put in the most work and effort that I've ever seen any team that I've ever been on put in.
Wow.
So I'm happy with what the guys are doing here.
Wow. Well, I guess you can't really ask much more from that on your team. Thank you so much for those responses. Good luck in the battle, and we'll see you in a couple seconds.
See you there.
Well, so, that's man, if that's your team, right, that sounds like a great team to be on.
If you put in enough work for a long enough period of time, that's how mastery is developed. There's a whole book written about it. I believe it's 10,000 hours or something. It's the cutoff. But what I was just musing to myself about is I now understand kind of how the news works. When they're like, we're going live to Jim and Hurricane whatever, and he sits there looking at the camera for a second.
Jim.
Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I'm totally not in the studio. It's going absolutely crazy over here.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's like that the whole time.
I actually thought that monitor had frozen for a second because you moved so little. All right,
Yes.
so getting serious here.
Yeah, what-
Rival versus high voltage. Now, I don't know if it's possible to put up too much work to get ready for a team like high voltage. High voltage certainly has shown that they can be weak at certain point in times, but they stepped it up with the Killzor.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see how well they do against Rival today, or on the flip side of that, how well Rival does against high voltage.
Yeah.
It's certainly what would appear to be an underdog situation, but Rival has already done quite well in the past.
Yeah.
So it's only time will tell.
Another thing I want to point out is both of these teams are new. The teams themselves are newer to the league.
Yes. I mean, but calling high voltage new is
Right, because they have all those veteran members. No, I totally understand, but it is
technically accurate. Let's check out the rosters while we got a moment.
Now, up first, we have on the side of high voltage, Topher, Smurf, Heavy 20, Wall Hacks, some of the people I look out for. David on Rival, what do you think the people to follow are?
Well, so far, World War II Fnatic, and I believe Airtie have been putting up some of the higher numbers. Fnatic and several other people on that team came from a team called Refuse to Die. Airtie came from Elevate. And other than that, I believe some of them are newer, but that's a whole lot of talent on that team, a whole lot of history on that team. So they certainly stand a chance today to do well, if not win.
Absolutely. We'll see if those roster changes just from this week have helped both of these teams out as we're into our last match of the night, ladies and gentlemen. High Voltage versus Team Rival on Himmelsdorf to start out. Let's get right into the match and see, David, what do we got for tanks?
You know, I never thought there would be a day where I was so excited to see Himmelsdorf as I am right now.
Okay.
High voltage, 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and AMX-12T. Meanwhile, Team Rival, 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a VK2801. Interesting choice on defense. We'll see how it goes.
No, we've seen this VK2101 not super often, but I believe maybe twice or 3 times now. What is the benefits to this tank and its detriments?
It's just not as great of a scout as other tanks, but
Okay.
you know, I haven't played it in quite a while since back when it was actually one of the most overpowered tanks in the game.
Ah.
I mean, this thing was ridiculous.
Okay.
But nowadays, it's not as good as it was. However, it does have a pretty reasonable cannon, so if you can get it in behind a tank, and I kind of see the logic behind it on a map like this. You're not likely to get your scout in a position to do consistent fire on this map. However, he may pop into a position where he can let a shot fly into the back of 5100 or something, and you want to get the most bang for your buck. If that's the case, 2801 is a great choice for that. It'll certainly win if you were to ram it into the AMX-12T, as it is significantly heavier. In the past, I know if you had a head-to-head collision between a 2801 and a 1390, both tanks would explode.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that's pretty good. Right now, I'm going to stop talking about the 2801 because High Voltage is already making a very aggressive play up the 1-2, and Team Rival making an aggressive play down the 8-9. This is not completely unexpected.
HK getting a good spot, but having to get out of there. Luckily, he gets out there with his life, but taking below half of his health in damage. David, as you were saying, here goes Team Rival with the response, pushing down. Now, this is something I was actually going to comment on because I saw that they had such presence in that northern cap, and I was like, oh, it looks like they're maybe out of position if they try to go all the way back through, completely forgetting that they could do exactly what they're doing now and just push straight down. 3 of the 4 members get through without taking a scratch of damage. The Django is the only one to take a little bit of damage there, but High Voltage is now knowing that they're getting surrounded. And David, looking at the encroachment of Team Rival, would you rather be Rival right now or High Voltage?
I'd rather be High Voltage, and I would be doing exactly what they're doing. As soon as you saw that many tanks go, you know the rest are where they are. They already knew they were at D3. Now it's just a matter of getting over there and hoping you can get there before the rest of Rival shows up, which they are so far. Valkyrie Vewas and Anubis in huge trouble.
Here we go. Valkyrie going through. Anubis trying to find the reset. It's down to 3 more seconds. Let's see if he can pick it up. 1 more shot. He's going down there, doing a good job behind, but Ogmath is finding Valkyrie. They do get the reset, but Anubis getting extremely low. 1 more shot. He will go down. Here's a response. The Django finding a right guy. Amazing amount of focus fire coming in on the side of Team Rival there against High Voltage, who have now had to get off the cap. Let's see, as the sides have switched, which side it's going to fall into. Airtie finding Heavy 20, and now just to Killzor by himself on the cap there. Oxmathics, Blue Boy Captain, Anfield and Wallhacks pushing down. HK getting out of there. Looks like he's trying to reposition himself. The Django and World War II Fanatic doing a good job getting the damage out, at least Django on his AMX 5100, and now on the reload. It is a 5v5, even it up with High Voltage in the position now, going back onto Cap, putting the pressure. Let's see how Team Rival can respond.
Well, fortunately for High Voltage, they not only have higher hit points, but one of the 5 left for Team Rival is only their 2801, which, whatever. They don't really care about that so much. Now, I think that High Voltage made a pretty significant mistake there by keeping any tanks on Cap whatsoever. If you knew they had that isolation and you knew where they were coming from, it's painfully obvious that your guys on Cap are at risk. So a risk and an overall play that I find extremely questionable from a team that I think should know better. Rival making the best of the situation they're in, trying to get Anfield where he is. That's a smart move, and there we go.
Let's see what's happening. Urtai getting, though, focused down himself. 759 points of damage. One more shot, and he will go down. Let's see who can pick it up. Anfield and Wallhacks both in the reload. He's going to try and make it around the corner, but he doesn't make it. Wallhacks picking it up. Anfield making sure he's dead just for good measure. And now Hall, the next focus to Killzor, finding that kill. 3 tanks now remain on the side of Team Rival. And David, as you were saying, one of those tanks is that VK 2801, which isn't too big of a threat, and over a 2,000 HP lead on the side of High Voltage. They've left Augs Mathis on Cap, Blue Boys back there in the E1 line, and they're sending their overmatch that they know that they have over on the corner. World War II Fanatic on the reload. Let's see if he can reload in time, or if High Voltage will just continue the domination that they've been showing on this map. Around the corner they go. Wallhacks taking the first chunk of damage, but the Django getting 820 points right into the front of his tank. But the response is here. 2 AMX 5100s fully loaded, getting the damage out onto High Voltage, taking 2 members down. Now Anfield coming around, trying to clean up the Django. Now it's just World War II Fanatic left. He turns his turret. Let's see if he can take the shots off. He's just trying to run now, it looks like. But Blue Boys captain Anox Mathis are still on the Cap. Is taking down a beautiful shot from Anox Mathis just through the side of that building there to pick up the final, or the second to last member of Team Rival there. And now it is just HK in that VK 2801. Not anymore, actually. Alex Mathis picking that up. Not sure even how, but a beautiful first win going out for High Voltage there onto Himmelsdorf.
It's like Alex Mathis heard us talking about who should be MVP, and he's like, wait, hold up. Does anybody have any doubt about that? 2 snipe shots right in a row. Just,
yeah. Let's talk about that kind of opening move there. So we had, we had High Voltage putting a lot of members over there toward that western cap, and on the response, we have Team Rival putting a lot into the north. They saw that, obviously High Voltage wasn't coming. They sent a lot down that 7-8 line. Where did it go wrong for them? Also, High Voltage has taken a timeout. Something to note.
That's interesting.
Which is, one game ahead.
It makes a certain amount of sense to me.
Okay.
You probably want to hold it for later, but I think they're trying to prevent that necessity of later from happening. As we've talked about, around 3 is 3 when you're 3 down or 3 matches in or something around there is kind of the best time to take a timeout or cool them down, like we were talking about. But in this instance, I feel like High Voltage just ran their strategy very incorrectly.
Oh, okay.
And they still played their way out of it, no problem. Right. And really just picking up those 2 tanks to start everything off was all they needed.
Sure.
But they made an overwhelming number of mistakes and questionable decisions in that thing. So I think they just pumped the brakes right there. They're going into whatever they talk about, wherever they draw strategies, and really detailing what should have happened to try and nip these problems before they continue happening, because that was strange. Honestly, Rival shouldn't have even had an opening in that map. The path they took in the exact context in which High Voltage was doing it was pretty much the worst answer they could have had. Huh. And I'm not saying that they had a bad strategy, or I'm not really blaming them for it whatsoever. It looked like they had a strategy that they ran, and then it just didn't work out.
Right.
The move down the 8 line with as many tanks as they were could work, provided you didn't move 2 tanks across the D line. The core mechanics of what they were doing weren't fundamentally wrong. How they did it is what caused problems. And High Voltage, giving them a lot of avenues to come back, pushing 2 IS-3s to chase down 2 5100s. That's just a giant no-no to begin with.
Okay.
I mean, they always kind of had it in the bag, but just a lot of
really
sloppy
close
mistakes that shouldn't have allowed it to get close whatsoever. So more High Voltage's fault that got close than Rival's success. We'll see if High Voltage can clean up their mistakes, and we'll see if Rival can turn it on and get it a little bit better. We don't have time to go to stats. I will point out that Wallhacks got 2,500, really just kind of a lot of damage with 3 different people in that match doing over 2,000. And the most important thing from the stats is not the numbers in this instance. There's a lot to look at. In this instance, I would say it's that Rival's 5100s drastically outperform the 5100s from High Voltage, which is impressive and surprising. The high voltage 5100s are Heavy 20 and Blue Boys, 2 guys known for playing well.
Sure.
Not that not that Django and Valkyrie view us aren't good, but usually you wouldn't expect to be such a drastic difference in damage between the two.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're into now to our second battle of our third and final match of the night. High Voltage versus Team Rival. Let's see if that timeout for High Voltage has come into play and see if they have a less sloppy, as David said, play style, or if Rival can continue to maybe exploit that even more as we're in. Let's take a look. What do we got for tanks?
For High Voltage, we have 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and an AMX-12T. Team Rival with pretty much the same lineup except a 2801 instead of the 12T. So same lineups we saw last time. Different moves for High Voltage as they are sending 2 5100s to the hill. And the rest of their team probably going to station on the 8 line, or they're moving a little bit far for that.
Yeah.
This could be a split push with a late collapsing hill force, something we haven't seen in a long time. A huge risk, but with a huge payoff. I mean, that's high risk, high yield investment going on here. Heavy 20 and Blue Boys by themselves could be easily picked up. Team Rival running the exact same moves they did last time. Obviously far more concerned with the northeastern part of the map than they are the west. My guess is last time they played, or last game, they just made some mistakes in their response to the West Cap. I don't think a team moves over into this area, especially a team that says they practice as much as this. I don't think a team moves over into this area unless they have some sort of plan for migrating back west to stop west, because west is not a hard cap to reset. So I understand and approve of this kind of emphasis here. What is simultaneously impressive and slightly confusing is what High Voltage is doing. And I say impressive only because if they're doing exactly what I think they're doing, and it would take a while to explain, and they pull it off, then it's going to be impressive. As of right now, it's a very classic way of playing Himmelsdorf here. Spread control with IS-3s along the courtyard gets you vision, and it gets you a chance to snipe across at each other like Valkyrie view us and Wallhacks just did, except usually Viewus's position gets a shot on where Wallhacks was and penetrates, but he didn't have the greatest shot, and he had to snap it as he wasn't there the whole time. Blue Boys just got lit on top of the hill. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I would hope not, unless they're trying to set some sort of trap. This is just a very static offense from High Voltage. It has a lot of potential, but so far none of it being realized. There's got to be some sort of trigger that leads to this being great, or better at least. I don't want to assume that what they're doing. Here we go.
The Killzor.
The Killzor moving across. That is step 1 towards a great offense. But Rival is in a great position to shut all this down if they respond correctly. Just in general, a lot of higher level Himmelsdorf than we've seen so far, aside from maybe #RU and Elevate.
Yeah, like we were saying, this is one of those openings from High Voltage that I haven't seen, spreading out most of their forces extremely thin across the entire map. Over on the west side, we have Angry White Guy moving up, about to meet HK over there in the hangar on the railroad tracks. But here in the center, we do just have the Killzor just maintaining, hanging out. Again, those 2 members still up on the hill. And David, you were talking about a sort of high-risk, high-reward sort of situation that you thought High Voltage might be setting themselves up into, as the Killzor now moving back across the courtyard. An Angry White Guy putting pressure now onto the western cap. Is this sort of looking like what you were thinking? Because now the 2 members are coming off the hill for High Voltage, back to their base.
No, I think what they were originally trying to do was coax a certain type of response out of Team Rival. That's why you do that. So you try and get Rival to dive on the guy who's in the courtyard, basically, to take the bird in hand that they see. And then there's a bunch of other angles. All those IS-3s can rip into anybody who can do that. And then you come down from the hill with 2 5100s and light them up from behind and then do a counter-offensive. but it didn't work. And now they're just moving into a Western cap, wisely abandoning a plan that just wasn't working. That's what I think they were doing. That's how it has worked in the past. But we're about to see a huge fight from 25100s collapsing on Django and Hall, and I don't even think these poor guys know what's about to happen to them.
Another shot coming out. Urtime, that IS3 taking some damage, but the cap getting reset just for a moment, but Dean down to 4 more seconds. Django, that 5100, taking a lot of damage to the back there. He drops. Heavy 20 gonna be the one to pick him up. The cap gets reset. A nice little time buy for Rival there, but let's see if it's gonna be enough as Blue Boys and Heavy 20 getting chased by World War II Fnatic and Hall over in the corner. A lot of damage coming off there. Let's see who can come on top. Heavy 20, one more shot away, but the cap is down to 0 seconds. They need to reset it, and quickly. It doesn't look like Rail's going to be able to do it, and High Voltage has successfully assaulted onto Himmelsdorf. That is now 2 victories on offense going on the side of High Voltage there. Sorry, go ahead.
As much as none of their plans have seemed super rehearsed and well executed,
yeah,
it's the best kind of sloppy I've seen in a while.
Okay.
Like they always look like, even if things aren't going according to plan, they never look like they're flustered by it. It's just like, oh, well, that didn't work
out. Let's go do this.
Let's go over here. And that trap with the 25100s is one of the reasons why I've never really liked playing Himmelsdorf.
Okay.
Because you never know, lest you have a scout go ahead of stuff, you never know if stuff like that is waiting for you. And in that instance, it was not unreasonable for Rival to assume that there weren't going to be tanks there, because nobody in the league's really doing it so far, aside from #RU. Nobody's separating that much, because if all your tanks get spotted, it's very easy. It would not have been hard. If those 25100s had been spotted, either they would have been isolated, or the people on cap would have been isolated, and it would have been a clean, easy sweep for Rival. However, 2 wins
on offense
for High Voltage on offense so far, which I still believe that offense has the
slight
advantage on Himmelsdorf. But if they have a strong defense, then they could easily run this up 4-0 right off the bat, and that would put a lot of fear into people. That would make Lakeville a great map for High Voltage, and then perhaps Himmelsdorf a great map for High Voltage, and start racking up these maps. You can't ban enough of them. I don't know where you want to take them. Ghost Town?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go
Probably
there.
not. One thing I do want to talk about is when you get into these situations, when you have teams, you say, they have a plan. Obviously, it doesn't work out, but you do see one team still coming on top, almost with a huge advantage. Does that also point to maybe just more experienced play, or just maybe better communication?
Right now, High Voltage, the most important thing, the biggest advantage I'm seeing out of High Voltage is they're not afraid. They're just very calm and confident in what they're doing.
Okay.
And you can fail the best laid plan ever if you're afraid to run it. However, if you can also get away with the opposite. You can get away with some of the worst planning in the world if you play confident, because
YOLO.
The other team feels that right off of you. Anyways, we got a match going off.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, to our third battle of our third match of the night. High Voltage versus Rival. We have switched sides. High Voltage is now on the defense, Rival on the offense. Let's see if Rival can do exactly what was just done to them and take 2 victories to tie it up, or if High Voltage will continue these victories they've been having. David, what do we got for tanks?
High Voltage with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and T37. Meanwhile, Team Rival with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a 28-1. So the exact same lineups both teams were running in the previous set when Voltage was on offense and Rival was on defense. They're running again. See if Voltage has a dynamic defense setup, or if they're going for more of that northeastern concerned play.
Looks like they're actually sending a lot of people down the 1-2 line, the 2-3 line there for Voltage, while we have 6 members of Rival pushing up the hill. Blue Boys and Heavy 20 got to be careful.
This is literally the worst thing that could be happening for High Voltage right now. This is exactly the only thing that they are really unprepared for.
Oh, here we go.
Heavy 20 and Blue Boys. I might give you guys a preemptive rip if you don't start turning right now, because it's about to get bad.
There we go. Let's see if they can get any shots on Heavy 20. No, he ducks around behind the corner. They get out. Looks like just in time, but here comes the 6 members still.
They didn't see each other
piling down. No information was given on either side. This might be disastrous for High Voltage here. Let's see if Heavy 20 and Blue Boys can still get lucky and find certain corners to get behind. Yes, they do. My goodness, they made it around.
What are these hacks? that allow them to escape this so clearly. And no, ladies and gentlemen, they can't hack. This is very, very under control and verified. It's not possible. Just great instincts or timing from these two, because they avoided certain death.
Yeah, well, here we go. Look at Rival here. All the forces now on this northern cap. Only HK remains back in the base, but he is now coming to join the team. And they were talking about this corner, right? This, Himmelsdorf being updated and having this little cap where you can get behind this kind of little edge of, edge of building there. High Voltage, if they push in right now as they are doing, almost, kind of right here on the B line, is that a good response to this? Because it looks like Valkyrie getting dropped to below half health.
Well, it's certainly not a bad response, largely because the entirety of Rival is stacked in the A line. So they can't really stack up and fire on the B2 corner. You have to have much more split positions to really make that worth it. So it doesn't matter to High Voltage as long as they get closer. It's not a big deal. But they have to get the reset, or it's all for naught.
And here we go, 16 seconds now remain on the clock. Wall hacks to kill Zora and coming in the corner and bouncing a shot. Hull now taking the damage, and there's the reset that they needed. Hull getting dropped extremely low, heavy 20 in that AMX 100. Gives some good shots over to World War II Fnatic. A fight has ensued. Team Rival coming on the corner. World War II Fnatic going to be the first one to find a kill. That is on to kill Zora, and Anubis finding wall hacks. A great amount of focus coming out from the side of Rival here. Now Antpro doing his best to try to do the damage he can before he goes down himself. One more shot will do it, and it will be the Django to pick it up. 10 seconds on the clock. No, it gets reset. High Voltage doing a good job, but now Blue Boys captain with the response. Let's see if they can pry their way back from this lost Angry Guy. Taking another one down. 40 seconds, a good reset onto Valkyrie right there. It is now a 4v5 in favor of Team Rival. But it looks like High Voltage is coming in the corner. A good shot onto Angry Guy in that T-37. One more shot on that IS-3, and he will go down. He does. He picks up Valkyrie before Valkyrie respawn. But down there back in the city, Anubis finding Anfield. Now, after that brawl, actually, excuse me, it's continuing to go as HK chasing down Heavy 20, who is on the reload. Angry Guy getting tracked. A quick and well-used repair there to get himself out of harm's way. But Heavy 20 now has his shots, and he will take down HK with ease. 4 shots remain. The Django, though, also has all of his shots and gonna find Angry Guy. A 2v3, and David, this is going back and forth.
This is looking like Rival's game. Angry Guy was super important to making sure they could keep this together. That 2801 did an absurd amount of damage to Heavy 20 and really put this back in Rival's favor. Just a lot of great HP sharing coming out from Rival may have won them for this game in the end.
There we go. Blue Boys captain trying to do his best to take down these two members, but that shot misses. That's not what you want to see. Anubis on the reload. He's going to find Blue Boys captain, and now it is a 3v1. Heavy 20 has 4 shots in that autoloader, but he is 1 shot away himself with the cap pressure going down. I'm not sure that there's much he can do just sitting on that corner. Let's see if he tries to make a move. Anubis hopefully will be the first one that he tries to take down in that IS-3, backing into a good little corner to defend that B line there. 10 seconds remain. Heavy 20 on the move. I'm sure, David, as you're probably thinking right now, he knows that there's nothing he can do. AMX 5100, I mean, even though it is a heavy tank, it is fast, but not fast enough. 4 seconds now remain.
He has a dead engine, too.
Oh, that's why he's going so low. Unfortunate for Heavy 20. The cap now ticking down. Rival going to pick up a win against High Voltage here on offense onto Himmelsdorf. A good pickup for them, and it seems, as you're saying, Himmelsdorf being that one with the slight advantage to offense. Both teams showing that right now. A good pickup for Rival, but that dead engine there onto Heavy 20. Do you think that he possibly could have had a chance of resetting it with his health, or was he still out of the game?
Well, I mean, he maybe reset, but he would die.
Not going to win.
Yeah,
sure.
That was over.
That was over.
Really, just
that opening.
Better tanking by Rival. Once both 5100s for High Voltage were dry, which they're actually only 2 points away from each other. Let's go to stats for just a second.
Yeah.
Not really to focus on the numbers so much, just to look at the spread. So, Blue Boys and Heavy 20, 2 damage away from each other. A lot of shots fired between the two, reasonable penetration. But you notice they're taking the bear share of the damage here. While over on Rival, it goes much further down the line with that VK2801 doing quite a bit. 5 hits for 1,200. That is definitely worth bringing if you're going to be dealing with 5100s on a map like this. I mean, he pretty much took out Heavy 20 by himself. But so what I was saying is, Rival did a good job absorbing all the shots from the 5100s.
Okay.
And making sure that they were evenly spread and didn't focus targets down, which when they then poured around the corner, they just had a greater number of guns,
Sure.
were able to focus fire better, and win. It's better tanking.
Yeah, well, Wolf, the one thing I want to point out too, do you think that it would have gone a little better in High Voltage's favor if they were in preparation for that crazy 6 push over the side? I mean, like I said, Blue Boys, and I can't remember who else, but got out of there in time, luckily. But if they were, set up, maybe it would have been a different story. But let's find out if High Voltage is going to set up differently or if Team Rival can tie it up 2-2 as we're into our next battle of our third and final match of the night, ladies and gentlemen. High Voltage versus Team Rival. Team Rival on the offense again. High Voltage on the defense for the last time on this map. David, walk us through. What do we got for tanks?
High Voltage, well, actually, both teams just running the same thing they ran last time, which is 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and their preferred scout, which for Rivals a 2801, and for High Voltage, a T-37. One amusing thing to note about that is that both of the tanks they chose were perfect for them last round. Angry Guy coming in with a faster reload, able to drop a number of tanks very quickly.
Okay.
And HK in the 2801 doing larger amounts of damage per shot. And that's exactly what both teams needed in their respective situations. So just kind of an ironic thing going on. High Voltage running a different kind of defense now.
Absolutely. Maybe Rival got into their heads a little bit? Wow.
Those are some of the latest shots. Either that or they're timed. Oh, man.
Don't sit there.
No, if they had held those shots, one of those 2 IS-3s down the south would have gotten lit up. There's a nice opening play to try and get the 2801 counter-scouted Angry Guy, and that's really shut down what High Voltage was trying to do. But I like what they were trying to do. It just didn't pay out that time because Rival, intelligently or accidentally, either way, stopped it from happening. People haven't done that in a while, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was accidental, but either way, it just accidental is probably not the best word, because no matter what, they were scouting it on purpose just to make sure that things were safe.
Sure.
And found it in that instance. So misspeaking here a little bit, but Team Rival coming across the bottom with most of their heavies. Amusingly running something very similar to what we saw High Voltage do with the 250s on the top of the hill. Actually, those are 2 IS-3s on the top of the hill. I don't know about that.
Well, one thing I also want to point out as well, it seems this Team Rival is not being very decisive in what they want to do. They're kind of sitting back in that southern part of the map. Are they just waiting for critical information to come through before they really make a move?
They're letting HK do some scouting. So yeah, basically, they've got a bunch of conditions that they're looking for.
Okay.
And they're just kind of driving around with him, cooking down the only possible options they have left, and guaranteeing that there aren't tanks in certain spots that would stop them from doing what they're trying to do right now. Those tanks weren't there, so Rival's going to push up the 8 line and assault the northern cap again with 2 IS-3s rolling off hill late, or, well, early, just from a different angle.
Okay.
I still don't know about that. I mean, it worked. They didn't take any damage. It's just, I don't know why you'd want to do that with them instead of a 5100.
Maybe we can talk about it a little bit after the match, but this, right as we're speaking, Urtai coming around in that IS-3, finding Anpro, getting a good chunk of damage, 383 into his side, backing off for the reload. And now only HK, the only member not up here over on this northeastern side, as Team Rival is pushing in. Looks like they are going for this northern cap. Let's see if High Voltage is in a good position to kill Zor. Getting a good kill on that scout. HK going down. And Anubis takes Danish Manpro. Anpro not in the best position as these tanks are coming around the corner. Wall hacks in that IS-3. In that classic position we've seen, that A5 position, getting a good amount of attacks onto anyone coming in the north, but the pressure has been applied. Anubis, though, good focus fire, getting dropped extremely low. Ant, though, himself low. One more shot. Let's see if he can take on Urtai before he can. Let's see if the ram, I don't know if IS-3s can actually ram each other. There it is, 21 damage going out to the side of Urtai, who's going to get a shot and going to find the kill, picking up Ant Pro, making it a 6-on-5 in favor of High Voltage. Still, the Django taking a lot of damage as well in that 5100. And also we have Urtai, who's extremely low in the IS-3, having to be careful of his positioning as well. Valkyrie also taking a lot of damage, dropping below half, and it looks like High Voltage is doing a great job sort of corralling and pushing Rival out of this northern cap as DeKillzor finding another kill onto Valkyrie. World War II Fnatic looks like he's chasing down DeKillzor in that IS-3, but Angry Guy in that T-37 doing a good job poking him into DeKillzor once his ammo was up, finding another kill. That is 3 in a row for this IS-3. Angry Guy now in the courtyard, and just 3 members remain on Rival. It looks like High Voltage is going to take this victory if they can play it smart. Blue Boy's captain taking a lot of damage, but he's going to find the Django return. Now it is just Hall as the rest of High Voltage come around him. A track going out, and Blue Boy's picking that one up. High Voltage getting a victory against Team Rival, making it 3-1 onto Himmelsdorf.
Man, Angry Guy is having a great day in his T-37.
Just getting
so
all those
far.
little shots off.
He helped chip down one of the 5100s enough so that DeKillzor could shoot him. Worth noting, all 7 of those kills were spread across 2 guys on High Voltage's side.
Wow.
Actually, let's go to stats.
Let's
Again, not going to focus too long on the numbers. Going to point out one thing. This time, High Voltage's 5100 still on top, but the damage spread uniformly across everybody. That is what it looks like when things go that well, and it did go that well.
Yeah.
Obviously not so great for Rival. Rival's strategy just didn't work, and that was it. That's
Okay.
it's good play from High Voltage.
Yeah.
Perhaps a bad choice by Rival, but like we were saying, Angry Guy blocking that IS-3 right as he was trying to get out of there with his face, making sure his team could secure the kill.
Nope.
Oh, classy.
Good plays from them. Now talking about this, High Voltage is now up 3-1, and it looks like our next map we're going to be is in Ghost Town. Now looking at the kind of the play style so far of tonight, but also just the history of these teams, who are you thinking is going to have the slight advantage coming up?
I really don't know. Rival is doing fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down by 2 overall, but they're doing pretty well. Better than a lot of teams would do against High Voltage. Better than a lot of teams have done against High Voltage. So I guess both of these teams comfortable in the city kind of maps. In particular, Rival. I would not expect that High Voltage would have banned more of the open maps because they do very well on them with Oxmathis.
Yeah.
So it looks to me like perhaps this is Rival's way of trying to shut out the Oxmathis effect.
That makes sense.
It would. I can't say for certain. I'd have to talk to him. It's very complicated.
We're going to see Oxmathis now.
It's a long picking process of how all that goes down. So unfortunately, we can't have our ear in it and listen to it to parlay that information to you guys. We'd love to figure out a way to tell you in the future, and we will if we can. But as it is right now, that is my guess.
Okay.
And I think it's a fairly reasonable guess, considering I wouldn't want to play Oxmathis on an open map. I don't think you would either.
This is true, ladies and gentlemen, as we're into now our 5th battle of our 3rd and final match of the night. High Voltage versus Team Rival on Ghost Town. High Voltage is going to be on the defense, Team Rival on the offense. Let's get into this and see what we've got, David, for our tanks.
For High Voltage, we have a 5100, 2 IS-3s, 2 T-32s, an RU-251, and a T-37. For Team Rival, 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, an Object 416, and a 2801. The 416 is a tank we don't see that often. The Pancake, as it was called back when I played.
I'm missing my waffles.
The waffle has no business being on this map, trust me. It is one of the highest DPM tanks in Tier 8.
Wow.
It fires heat shells, and it's in general just kind of it's a very preferential tank, as in it's up to whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Very rarely is it a tank that's just objectively awesome to bring. Since the days, perhaps back on Cliff and some of the other situations, it used to be very good. I think now it's either a preference thing or you have a very good way to use it. So far, I've seen Simp use it enough to where I think it's just a preference thing for them, because the positions they're using it in, I don't see it being like the objective best tank or great tank for that.
Okay.
It's just something that I like to use. So it could work in the northern cap, as it's very low to the ground. But I don't know if I'd want to put an actual Tier 8 in there aside from a T-32 to block something like a 59-16. The way Game Over did it. Right now, High Voltage's positions are very well prepared to prevent a northern cap. We'll see if they have a solution for the middle cap, because that is a lot of pressure coming out from Rival there.
Immediately, 3 members dropping the cap now to 23 seconds. High Voltage, as you can see, all responding on their map simultaneously as they're now pressing into the center cap point. Let's see if Rival has a good response in this. Some shots going in, firing by Blue Boys captain over on the side. Nothing connecting yet. Now down to 10 seconds. Wallhacks need to pop around and get a shot off quick, or Rival is just going to run in and take this one. But over on the side, Angry coming around. Wallhacks popping out, getting destroyed before he can take a shot off. But to Killzor, getting a good chunk into there. Exactly what they need to reset the cap, but the pressure is still on, and being a tank down, Rival hopefully can maintain the lead they have, but a lot of damage is coming up from Anubis. High Voltage now in the respective positions. Angry from the back in a good little position for the flank. HK further back behind him, but now the cap is down to 0 seconds. They need to get a shot. They need to get the reset. It doesn't look like they got it. Team Rival looks like they've successfully attacked High Voltage on this first map. And another, this is the second time on Ghost Town we've seen very quick, very decisive caps, and it's very, very effective right on the bat.
That is a situation where the object 416 was probably one of the best tanks you could use in that situation.
Okay.
The high DPM allowed him to clean up a tank, multiple IS-3s away. He's low slung to the ground. He could aim in between it. That's a very well thought out strategy by Rival, in the sense that where they had all their tanks facing, and they made sure to funnel tanks into that spot. So they had every other area covered, and they knew the only way that you could reliably get a reset without being seen. So if you were going to just appear out of nowhere, it would be on that corner.
Yeah, I know. And Wallhacks popped out, I believe, and just got melted.
The only way Wallhacks could have survived that, and he likely very well couldn't have, no matter what, is if he reverse angled off that building. But with the amount of time that he had left, he just had to poke around broadside and rip.
Ripperino. Now, looking at this, when a team is just aggressive, we saw, I believe it was our first match. Was it? No, we had Game Over do this first, and they did it twice in a row, and it worked out for them actually both times, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Talking about a cap fast or the middle cap?
The cap fast, but it was on Northern. They did this on the Northern cap.
Yeah. It worked just fine. So, wouldn't surprise me if this is one of the maps that Rival wanted to play.
They had that planned.
It's not a bad idea when you're playing against teams that have a lot of experience to go onto new maps, things where you can't have experience on them, because then it's just whoever can come up with the best stuff at the time. And teams like High Voltage, or at least from what I know of them and what I would have done in that situation, is I just wouldn't have wanted to play that. I'd just ban it all the time. It's like, no, I don't want to have to learn the new map. I'll just ban it.
That makes sense.
Because I have enough experience, and I know I can use my experience against you. In that instance, Rival getting what they wanted and delivering an absolutely killer blow to Wallhacks to open up the whole thing.
Absolutely. Let's see if they can do this one more time, as they are again on the offense, on to Ghost Town. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into our next battle of our third match of the night. Let's see if High Voltage can claim a victory on defense, or if Rival can tie it up 3-3 as we're getting into this match. David, let's go ahead and look at what do we got for tanks.
High Voltage with two 5100s, 3 IS-3s, a T-32, and a T-37. They changed a little bit.
Okay.
Team Rival with two 5100s, 3 IS-3s, a 416, and a 2801. I don't know if they're going to go middle or if they have a similarly well-planned assault on North, because that would be perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes
absolutely.
I comment about how changing every single game is a predictable pattern on its own. But if you have a trap like that for both caps, then yeah, change and show them both traps in one set. Right. But High Voltage running kind of their own version of the thing and just taking everything they've got going over the top.
Yeah, let's see. Looks like they want none of what happened last time, is they're putting all their members together. No one spreading out, no one in the back. The kills are popping out, taking 360 points of damage there from Valkyrie and Hall. Those three IS-3s being battle buddies over there. Some shots just grazing over their head. Looks like World War II Fanatic in that Object 416 going to be the one to start the caps for North. To kind of answer the question, it looks like the Northern cap is going to be the one they go for. Let's see if that trap works out, because it does look like High Voltage, isn't it? You know, they're all bunched up. Let's see if that, they're in a good position to respond to this. The Django and Urtai, those 5100s, haven't taken a shot yet. Also going to be battle buddies, but over on the top, Hall, Valkyrie, and Anubis trying to get some shots off, but taking some on their own. Alex Mathis in that T-32 getting low himself, about 50% HP. Anubis taking a lot of damage into Django also over on the right. High Voltage doing a good job coming in here. Urtai in a bit of danger. Let's see though if they pop out. We have Elias Streets pointing all up. Who was Captain Anubis taking him down extremely quickly. A great pick up there, and they're going to continue this rush. Urtai getting stuck. He's trying to turn around. He will not. Anfield picking him up. Heavy 20 also finding the Django. World War II Fnatic, though, going to try to respond by taking Heavy 20 down, but this Killzor is one shot away. World War II Fnatic going to pick that one up. HK coming around from behind as Anfield finding Anubis. A 4-on-4 now with the HP in favor of High Voltage, but ever so slightly as Valkyrie finding Angry Guy. Ox Mathis in that T-32 trying to find one more shot into hole. If he can shoot it, he will go down. He does. He finds it, taking down that IS-3. A great pickup, but might have to sacrifice himself for it unless he can get out of here before HK has a response. Let's see if he can make it. He's just an inch away. The shot goes out from HK, and it bounces. A beautiful position for Ox Mathis to begin as he gets 2 shots onto the enemy tank. Finally going down to Valkyrie, but Anfield and Wallhacks turning their attention over to World War II Fnatic here, and over up on the right. 2 tanks remain. World War II Fnatic going down. Let's see if the teammates for Team Rival can come and save him in time. HK taking a shot on the run. Valkyrie dropping. Wallhacks extremely low. It's a 2-on-2. Anfield extremely healthy, taking down HK in that VK-28-1, and now 1 IS-3 at half health against 2 IS-3s, 1 at full and 1 at just a couple more shots. The shot going out onto Anfield. This should be in the hands of High Voltage, but let's see if Valkyrie can pull out something. No, Anfield taking him down, increasing that lead to 4-2 in favor of High Voltage against Team Rival there.
Wow. Okay, great trap by Rival. Great trap. Now, High Voltage stepped into it a little bit. Actually, you won me over a little bit with a 416 in that instance because there wasn't anybody who could get up to reset the 416 from up there because they knew where the T-37 was. And once you start trying to push past the 416, it's not like the 5916 or one of those other tanks where you're like, whatever, it's a little light tank.
No,
416 is a problem. If you let that thing sit there and rip out DPM on you, damage per minute, it's going to annihilate you. Now, good. Rival just took a timeout.
Good for you, Rival.
They need that because they only can lose one more time. Well, they can't lose one more time or it's over.
Right.
What I want to point out, and I don't know if everybody saw it there, Angry Guy game MVP.
I didn't see it.
If it were not for him, I do not think that High Voltage would have won that.
Really?
So he needs to get me his replay, and we need to put this in the highlight because that is not only the #1 highlight of this week so far, it's #1 highlight of this season.
Wow.
So he comes in.
Wow.
And maybe my eyes deceived me, but from what I saw, Angry Guy came flying down from the other side around the T-32, around Ox Mathis, and drifted into position to catch an IS-3 shot, save Ox Mathis from dying, and then give Ox Mathis a hull down to continue fighting from.
Oh my goodness.
So that kept up that kept up the split pressure that caught and ultimately defeated Rival. If it weren't for that T-32 would have gone down, and it would have just been a very quick very quick cleanup from that point forward. So, Angry Guy.
What a beautiful play.
Nice.
If that is the case, I mean, the question of the day, which was, who do you think is your MVP of the season? It might have to go to Angry Guy right there. That is,
I don't know.
That is beautiful.
I don't know about that.
I could
the double blind shot on Lakeville to even give them a win against Refuse, where if they didn't get it, they wouldn't have tied. And I mean, they ultimately lost, but the only reason they didn't lose earlier is because Ox Mathis. I mean,
Ox Mathis, you are still MVP. Okay.
We don't have to pick favorites here. Both were great.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Just a great match altogether. I think we have time to go to stats, so let's do it because there's a lot of numbers coming out here. Valkyrie View us, making a very good case. I know he was a little bit perturbed that I didn't pick him and instead picked Fnatic. Well, you keep playing like that's going to happen. But Fnatic also putting up quite a bit of numbers there. Both of them over 2K. 28-1. HK, if he'd gotten his way into that fight, he could have been a serious problem, but he just wasn't there or enough to connect. Meanwhile, over there for High Voltage, Wallhacks and Anfield, a little bit of fumbling with how they work together there at the end. Just kind of awkward cover on each other, and at least I believe one bounce shot on the 416, which was huge. But both of them carrying it through with over 2,000 damage as well. Bouncing the 416 is actually pretty easy to do. It's a weird tank, and I always hate shooting at it because it absorbs or bounces the weirdest shots. It's troll bounce. It's just troll armor. It doesn't have a lot of it, but for some reason it just deflects things that it shouldn't.
That you shouldn't. Okay, you just say, oh, this will take him down. Dang it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be into our next battle here. High Voltage versus Rival. High Voltage just needing one more victory to take the match for the night. Team Rival just coming off a timeout. Let's see if it helps them as they have to claw the way back to a tiebreaker and then win it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see right into the battle. Onto Ghost Town. We've switched side. High Voltage on the offense. Team Rival on the defense. David, what do we got for tanks?
High Voltage closing in on what they expect to be their final game of the night with 2 110s, 3 5100s, an IS-3, and an AMX 12T. Team Rival trying to hold on and claw back with a 2-match deficit with 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, a T-32, and a T-37.
Good luck to both of these teams here as Team Rival. It would really be great for them to win this one, being still not super high into the standings, but High Voltage, like you said, is after some of these pickups, looking just like a new team coming on. I believe it was a 5-0 victory just on Tuesday. But starting on this match, ladies and gentlemen, T-37 HK coming in, doing some good scouting runs here, but he might find the entire team of High Voltage here if he's not careful. Angry Guy taking a shot, missing him. HK now knows he's in trouble. He's got to get out of there. Heavy 20, chasing not too much. And Angry Guy also backing off themselves. But David, looking as offense, they are all staying together, all pushing as one. Normally we see some members of the team kind of hang out, looking for flanks or maybe trying to play some flex positions. But High Voltage is being very decisive in where they're placing their guys. HK, how careful does he have to be right now?
He's fine. I mean, he can hold down from over there. He's got plenty of terrain to run around in.
Okay.
He's just keeping tabs on him, which is exactly what he wants to do. Looks like Rival has a bit of a trap laid for them there in the north. They know where High Voltage is, so their lack of response to that indicates that they are exactly where they want to be.
Okay.
And that they are really hoping that High Voltage steps into a kill zone. And I see many of those. That's a very interesting setup they've got here. Airtie and the Django can flank pretty much anything they see. 3 IS-3s and a T-32. Those can be kind of rotated around to different places. Into the middle, one shot rang out, but it didn't connect there. High Voltage going a little bit further west than we've seen a lot of teams do. Really haven't seen anybody cross the 3 line with that many tanks.
That's true.
But right now they're stalling out a little bit.
Angry Guy, though, going up against HK. Let's see if he can take out this annoying member of Team Rival here. One more shot, and he will go down. Let's see if he gets it. He does, picking up in that AMX 12T. A good pickup, taking his scout down. Now, David, obviously, they knew that HK saw where they were. If you go and take the scout out, now removing the information for your enemy team, only Angry Guy is spotted right now. Actually, wall hacks himself, but. Is this a time where we see teams maybe perhaps repositioning? All right, they knew we were here. They know that we have all these guys here. Let's take the time now that their scouts are done to move around?
Yes. In fact, the best thing, or one of the better things to do is if you're still lit to act like you're readjusting. So you start moving the other way, then you wait until you're not lit, and then you go back to where you were.
Mind games.
So you start playing with your opponent. But HK losing to Angry Guy there is not surprising. And that's not a comment on player skill whatsoever. It's just a comment on the 12T versus the T-37. And if you're having a scout battle, the 12T should win
having an autoloader
every time.
Yeah, especially he had his full clip ready to go. Team Rival now looks like they're moving that trap that they had set up, pushing a lot of pressure here into the center team. And High Voltage now moving back. Anubis though spotting Ant Pro and Dekilzor there in those 2 110s. Wall hacks trailing behind a little bit in that IS-3. But so far, David, from this sort of moving we see from High Voltage, is Rival doing the quote-unquote correct response?
Rival read this. They knew it was coming. They moved into position. This is exactly what they want to be doing right now. Although they are a bit exposed with this high road, I think the roads were incorrect, but we'll see in just a moment.
Let's find out as World War II Fnatic, like you're saying, trying to back up. Valkyrie having it away, don't want to block his teammates there. Hall taking a little bit of damage from Ampro. Wallhacks getting another nice shot in that IS-3 against Hall, as he's now dropping to about a quarter of his health. The health pool in about over 1,000 in favor of High Voltage here. And again, a tank down for the side of Team Rival. 2 minutes and 55 seconds into our battle here. 4-2 is the score. High Voltage just needing one more to claim this victory and take the night, or Team Rival need to hold off to find their way, claw their way back to a tiebreaker. But David, I really wouldn't be too worried if I were Team Rival, because every game so far has gone into a tiebreaker, and that was supposed to be how this game was supposed to go as well.
Well, we will see shortly here. Rival taking a lot of damage on a counter-offensive that I don't think they needed to do.
Let's here we go. Anubis popping out. Woltage Fnatic himself. Ampro looks like it's again. Nice shot there. 290 points of damage. Heavy 20 popping out. And Wallhacks again getting some good kills. Over on the side, Blue Boy's captain and Tofu's Perf gonna find Urtai. A good amount of damage. And now the flank is on. Tofu Smurf and Blue Boy's actually being on the reload, but Tofu Smurf is not. He finds World War II Fnatic dropping low on the side. He finds another. Anubis going down. The Django finding Heavy 20 in response, but getting dropped extremely low himself. One more shot, and Hall will go down to Tofu Smurf. Now just 2 members remain on the side of Rival. 1 actually, 0 going down. High Voltage picking it up. 5 wins against Team Rival with just 2. A great play there. David, you were talking about how you didn't think right there that Rival needed to be as aggressive as they did. And obviously you were completely right because they got lit up.
Certainly not. That adjustment to move over to the east and take up new positions was a hallmark of very good things to come. I do not want to criticize Rival too much for that whatsoever. They're playing a great team. Yeah. I think they didn't have the better lineup out of that overall fight. They made a big mistake, but some of their basic things that they're doing, their fundamentals are improving every day, and they are starting to quickly become a force to be reckoned with. I mean, none of those matches, aside from that very last one, none of those games, aside from the very last one, were landslide victories.
Sure.
Really, and they were a lot closer than you would expect against a team like High Voltage, which is very good. One thing I would like to point out, High Voltage running 3 5100s in that situation. I've been kind of wondering, so Ghost Town so far has been devolving into just tank brawls.
Right.
I'm kind of wondering if for the first team that was just going to accept that and then just bring a full brawl lineup and then provoke a response and have it. And so far, High Voltage looked for that, and it paid out for them. Didn't even need that extra 5100.
No, and let's see if other teams can kind of, maybe catch on to that hint that's going on, or if they're going to find a new way, maybe bring some artillery we haven't seen in a while. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll be our final match of the night. If you guys are just tuning in or missed anything, let's go through a quick recap of the scores. Up first, we had Simp versus Synergy. Simp beating out Synergy in a tiebreaker 5-4, followed by what was going to be Lamp versus 07. Fortunately, Lamp forfeited the game tonight, so 07 taking that one. Our second match of the night was Game Over versus Maple Freedom. Again, a tiebreaker where Game Over won 5-4. And finally, what you guys just saw, High Voltage versus Team Rival. High Voltage beating Team Rival 5-2. Now, David, throughout the 3 matches that we've had tonight, I know it's a little less, so maybe we have more highlights, but what is the main thing that pops into your head as something that you were really excited to see or something that might have caught you by surprise?
Oh, I'm going back to what we were talking about a minute ago with Angry Guys. Incredible
I wish I would have saw
with the
that.
T37.
Oh.
I'll show you after.
Cool. Well, we're going to watch this after. I can't wait because if that is the case, that by far will be mine as well. Just some amazing plays coming through. Anytime a tank drifts to then block a shot and then become a shield, this is just amazing things going through there. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, to tune in next week, Tuesday, July 14th, where we have some amazing, exciting matches for you. Up first, we're going to have Elevate versus Refuse, followed by #RU versus Synergy, third Noble versus 07, and finally, the close of the night, Simp versus Maple Freedom. Also, make sure, as always, to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA, and as always, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA, so you guys can stay tuned on everything that's happening in the community around you. David, any final thoughts before we close the night out?
Just a whole lot of unexpected tonight. That's really the only thing. Final thought, I guess, is I hope Lamp can recover from whatever it was that caused them to forfeit today and come back because they will be missed.
All right.
Would be missed.
Yeah, stop saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for our show tonight. Again, just 3 matches, so you got some extra time. Maybe find a movie in your local area, enjoy some dinner, watch some nice TV shows because it was a short one, but up next is the weekend, so enjoy that as well. On behalf of everyone here at WGLNA, that has been David Williams. I'm Christian Toma, and thanks for stopping by.